David Wilson has been in Richmond for quite some time. I originally met him as a director in BNI, and if you know him, you kind of sort of gravitate to him. So without further ado, David Wilson with Spend Down.
I have been networking and growing businesses for a long time, probably into my 16th year. Started off in Jersey and started gradually trickling down south. This is the first part in a series of 3 on networking. So what are we going to do before the event? And so let's start here. I think a lot of times people are unsure of the why. Like, why are we even networking at all? Why do we need to network? We don't suddenly just wake up one morning and say, wow, I need to do some networking, or maybe we do. So crowd participation, what I'd like to know from you guys is, what are some of the reasons we need to network? You can raise your hand or you can just yell it out.
Grow your business.
Okay, so for business growth. So there's many reasons why we should be networking, but I think point number 1 is to figure out why you are going to be networking. Well, we have to figure out where we're going to go. So this is the plan that we're going to take away from today, so you'll know what you need to do before you even get to the event that you've chosen. Okay? So now we have to pick something. So where are some of the places we can network? What are some of the places you've heard of to network? Shout it out. Go ahead. Okay. Hold on to BNI Pro. Let's group those all together to networking groups. Let's just put those aside for a moment. Chamber of Commerce events, yep. Okay, retail merchants, so membership organization types of places. Civic groups, Rotary, stuff like that. Okay, yep, perfect. And I might also throw in just your typical get-together, business card exchange type of event. Like you may have a group of folks get together, and I know a group of my colleagues do that. We'll get together, it's a B2B networking event, and we'll just come together and invite people to network on B2B related stuff. Meeting people, looking for resources for our clients. Any others?
Alumni groups.
Oh, good. Alumni groups. Okay, so whether you belong to a school, there are alumni groups for companies. Past Circuit City members. And they get together and network. Oh, I'm sorry? LinkedIn groups. Okay, excellent. So does everybody by show of hands use LinkedIn? Or let me ask a different question. Does everybody by show of hands have a LinkedIn account? Okay, hands up still. Who uses it regularly to do something other than be there? Okay, good. All right, so we'll talk a little bit about LinkedIn today as well. Understand this. So each of those groups has a different focus, right? And a different group of people who belong to those groups. So what I like to do as best I can before I come to before I choose that meeting, are the people at that group, at that meeting, at that event, the types of people I want to be connecting with, I need to connect with. And that ties into my why. So if you're choosing, for example, an alumni event, what relationships do I have with those folks? If I'm choosing a retail merchant association event or a chamber event, why should I be going there? Think about this. What resources do we have at our disposal? So now we're going to move into the next step. What resources do we have at our disposal before we get to, let's use the chamber, because every area has a chamber. Before we get to a chamber event, what resources do we have? There's one really, really, really big one. Their website. So what's on their website? Their membership, right? So their directory. That is extremely valuable. Tie this now back into your why. But what I want to turn back into LinkedIn, because you make a great point. I think a lot of people don't really understand the power of LinkedIn. I'll give you a real life example. A friend of mine was looking to connect to someone from Call Federal Credit Union. Okay, anybody know anyone from Call Federal Credit Union? Okay, me too. I just didn't realize it. So what I did was I took the person she was looking to connect with at Call Federal Credit Union, typed them into LinkedIn. And I don't know her. I don't know this person she's looking for, right? But come to find out, she's connected to 2 people I know, first degree connection on LinkedIn. One of those people is on the board of Call Federal Credit Union. I just didn't know that. So now I'm meeting with that person Friday to, like Scott will do, look for possible synergies, how we can help each other's clients on one hand, but a secondary conversation is going to be, oh, by the way, I noticed you're on the board of Call Federal Credit Union. This person's trying to connect with Call Federal Credit Union. How can we strategize to make that work? So we're just planting little seeds before we even get there. Make sense so far? Okay, so now we're starting to get excited because 3 people I know, I'm already connected with them, I can't wait to be there. The next step, and we want to be sure of this, so going back to what type of event we're going to, let's take 2 different events. Is anyone in here a personal trainer or know a personal trainer? Okay, I know one, I'm not one. Okay, and does anyone, by show of hands, know a banker or is a banker? Okay, I know one, I'm not one. Okay, can we agree that the National Personal Trainer Association networking event and the National Banker networking event are going to be different? So suits, track suits. I oftentimes see personal trainers walking around in shorts and a t-shirt and I'm like, wow, that's okay. That's really not that bad a life. Here, so as we move into the next step, we have to understand where we're going and what the attire is going to be when we get there. So first, let's talk about the location. So where is this? Inside, outside? What's parking going to be like? What's traffic going to be like? What about tolls? So I planned on being here in the parking lot at about 6:45. I had planned my route because I like to be here early. I ran into some traffic, but I was still here early. So make sure you understand where it is you're going. Make sure parking is free, or if it's not, where you're going to park. How much is it going to be? The worst thing you want to do is show up to the event that you've done all this work for and get there and you don't have any change, you don't have any cash, and there's one parking deck. Some of you are laughing, this has probably happened. So there's one parking deck and you pull up and you hand them your card and you say, sir, I'm sorry, we only take cash. Now what are you going to do? You got a problem. So make sure you know that. Tying back into the attire now, you might want to write this down. It might look funny if you show up to that networking event like this. And it would look even funnier if you showed up to that networking event like that. Now, we all have what I would call appropriate attire for our profession. Just understand that. Okay, next step, you want to figure out how many people, what's your plan? How many people do I need to meet, do I want to meet when I get there? If you plan accordingly and you know you're targeting Altria, Dominion, and General Electric, and you have your list, you can find those people and you can connect with them before the event. Does it matter if they're there? No, it doesn't matter if they're there if we have connected with them somehow prior to being there. So figuring out your why. am I going to go there? I'm sorry, figuring out the plan for what you're going to do. Am I going to go there and connect with these 4 people only? So that makes my focus very narrow, and it makes my goal very clear. So when I'm done with my 4 people, everyone else is just kind of gravy if I meet with them. The mistake a lot of us make is we don't go into these events with a plan, and we either A, start throwing up on people that we meet with the, oh, hey, how you doing? Don't do that. And we either do that and try to hand out as many business cards and collect as many business cards as possible, or we gravitate to what? Someone we know. So don't do that. When we have a plan, we won't have to do that. One of the easiest and effective ways to not worry about doing that is to prepare to go to an event in tandem. So with someone or someones you know. So why is that important? One, your buddy can keep you on track, making sure you are not talking to someone you know, making sure you're making the connections you should be making. So that's number one. Number two, your buddy can bail you out from that guy who is throwing up on you about his business and his new website and all the stuff nobody in the world cares about but him. See, oh, you know what? You should come over and meet Steve. Steve, excuse me, David. I'll be right back. And I'll be right back means see you later in the networking arena. And now you go connect to Steve. Your buddy can help you with that. Last thing you want to make sure you do is you want to make sure you have a plan for what you're going to do with all the connections. And the last point before you get to the event is your attitude. So how many people are just nervous about walking into an event where they don't know anyone, kind of just exposing themselves and being vulnerable? Who's nervous about that? Show of hands. Only 1, 2, 3. Okay, beautiful. But I know when I first started, that was me. I felt very uneasy about doing it. I'm actually not an extrovert. I'm an introvert. And it's not natural for me to do that. But what I found is when I have a plan and I'm focused, yes, on my plan, but also what can I do for someone else? How can I help someone else? So I'm speaking to Shirley, and I don't see Shirley as a dollar sign. I'm listening. My first thought is to listen to Shirley. Hey, and we'll talk about this in the second part of the series, but I'll give you a little teaser. So, Shirley, right now, what is your biggest challenge in your business?
Knowing the target audience, getting to the target audience.
Getting to the tired
Target.
target or
Market, yeah.
Okay, so getting to your target market.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a challenge for you. Okay, so you see how that kind of started? She let her guard down because I didn't sell her anything. I asked her a question that made her feel something. Did you notice the nonverbal? She kind of, okay, so now I follow up and I'll ask another question. And then I'll ask another question. And all the while, what am I thinking about? Who can I connect Shirley to that may be able to help her with her biggest challenge that she just told me? Make sense? Okay, so if we're thinking that, if that's our mindset, there's nothing to be afraid of. There's nothing to be uneasy about because I'm just trying to help. I'm just trying to help you. I'm trying to do whatever I can do to help you. You might not want my help. Can I connect you to John Jones? He's a marketing expert. No, you can't. Oh, okay. Well, It was nice talking to you, Shirley. So going back to the plan, I think if we are prepared that way, with all the stuff before, all the LinkedIn, making sure we understand who's going to be at the event, making sure we know how many people we want to connect to, and approach it from a position of help instead of a position of want and a position of sell. I think we'll all be better off. I look forward to coming back and seeing you guys in August to talk about part 2 during the event. Maybe we can talk more about LinkedIn at some point also. And the third part of the series in September, is it? After the event, what to do after. Thank you all very much for having me, and enjoy the rest of your day.